The networking continues here at IPBC Global 2016 in Barcelona. It's a wrap for day 2, but the conversation changed quite remarkably since I spoke to you last. Yesterday, in fact, we spoke a great deal about the US and Europe. Today it was Asia's turn, Richard.
It was, in China specifically, Mark. We heard on the succession of panels how companies are pushing more investment into the Chinese market. We heard the amazing news from Keith Burkelt, the head of the Open Invention Network, that he was going to shift 10 to 15% of his budget to the Chinese market. So far, 98% of his dollars have gone to the US. So that's a huge shift, and we're seeing it in many, many companies.
And also talk of a shakeout in the Chinese market.
Some talk of a shakeout, absolutely. What we've seen in China, of course, is the emergence of a number of high-growth companies that have done very well. And at the end of the day, we heard the amazing prediction that Zhao, the large Chinese smartphone maker that has 5% of the global smartphone market, the prediction was that we would actually see the downfall of Zhao in the next 3 years.
Well, Bing, do you believe it?
Well, I can't predict, but the fact is, look at the Microsoft and Xiaomi license happened last week. They just spent a lot of money buying 1,500 patents from Microsoft. So I don't know what will happen in 3 years, but what is happening is they're buying patents. They're buying a lot of patents right now, and that's a lot of Chinese companies are doing. They're one of the biggest buyers in the market. You can't ignore that.
And presumably, this is also going to be up for discussion at IPBC Asia in December. What are the trends that you're seeing based in Hong Kong of how the Chinese market is developing?
First of all, I think the market is getting mature, and in terms of the IP professional, and people are more mature doing licensing, doing buying in China. Second of all, I think the IP court and the IP general environment and the system is improving as well. I think that will bring a positive message to the international firms who wants to do patent litigation in China. So we can see that. We can see the increase of patent litigation in China very soon.
Last time IPBC Asia was in Shanghai, it was actually 2 years ago, wasn't it? So how much have things changed in the last 2 years?
Well, look at the numbers. You don't have Chinese companies bought a lot of patents from international companies 2 years ago, right? But it's happening now. And also 2 years ago, you don't see any Chinese companies. It's asserting, it's suing any international companies. But look at Huawei. Last week, they just filed a lawsuit against Samsung Electronics, right? We don't know how this is going to go, but what is happening is the increase of the awareness and the maturity of the Chinese companies. Yeah.
All right, we look forward to seeing you both and you at IPBC Asia 2016, 4th to the 6th of December, and we look forward to seeing you there in Shanghai.